Welcome to As Above,
So Below.
I am Kisha Lee.
And I'm Cidnee Rich. And this is Cosmic Chat and Chill,
Yay!
where we hang on the couch with y'all and talk about spirituality. And we're going to introduce a new little segment where we're going to choose the topic intuitively and just by chance. So we're playing with spirit as we connect with you guys. I'm super excited. We have all of our little ideas and topics in the bowl, so we're just gonna see what the vibes are.
Ah, I knew it! Clairs! I called it!
Like, literally called it,
I said it
y'all.
outside. I was like,
Say it out.
Clairs.
Set it outside. We're talking about clairs today. Beautiful. So, what are clairs, Keish?
So, fundamentally, clair means clear in French. So you have multiple intuitive gifts. I know some people are very familiar with being clairvoyant or clairaudience. You have claircognizance is your ability to know things. Clairvoyance is your ability to see things clearly. Clairaudience is that little birdie that whispers in your ear. And you also have clairolfactance, your ability to smell energy. Your clairgustance is your ability to taste energy. Clairtangence is where typically healers and so forth can feel energy with their hands. And then you have clairsentience, which is about sensing. The way these show up in the physical body on a very embodied level, a scientific level, your claircognizance is your ability for the left and the right hemispheres of your brain, as well as different lobes of the brain coming together to access higher knowing. Your clairvoyance is the imagery within the mind where you're able to see something, not just through imagination, but when you're like, someone's telling a story and you can say, I can see that, right? If you hear something, it's like that, little birdie told me, or a voice in my head said this. To smell energy is about maybe a spirit guide. For me, when I have a shaman around me, I may smell tobacco. Cool. If I have a divine feminine essence or guide around me, I'll smell roses. Some people may smell like a cologne or perfume that reminds them of a past loved one that has crossed over. The taste in your mouth, clairgustance, is like, you know what? I don't know that person. I just got a bad taste in my mouth about that person. Or it can even be in the realm of intuitive eating. What do I have a taste for? And you're trying to feel that out.
Taurus Moon loves that one. Yes.
Clairtangence is, I got a feeling, like this doesn't feel right. I think I want to get maybe this fabric or that fabric.
Textures is what I was thinking.
Textures.
Or like old buildings or something like that.
Exactly. Textures, things that you feel tangibly, but it gives you an intuitive hunch. And then clairsentience a lot of times is about like a gut feeling that we get. We sense something. And it doesn't always have to be negative. It can be things that just align you on a different path to help you and guide you to a different timeline that better serves you. So I like the clairs.
Yes, the clairs are the most magical, door when you unlock it. It's like, oh, because we all know our senses, right? And the senses are the same as the clairs. It's just that the clairs are the intuitive aspect of those, right? Everything we just talked about is everything that we learn as kids, right? Like we know how to smell, we know how to think, we know how to see, we know how to touch, we know how to feel, but those same vibes are in our intuitive energy as well, and those are the clairs. And it's really cool because, we naturally all have this, but unfortunately, because of the society that we live in, that gets whittled down to just those ones that we are taught in school. Right. Yeah. And then it's just like, oh, you're special, which of course we're special. We're all special. But those don't get uplifted. Those don't get supported in our society. And so as we get older, those clairs start to get more wispy or less clear. They get cloudy. And we start to like not rely on them anymore. And we just start to rely on what we can see, what we know, because someone told us, what we can feel, because, you know, it's right in front of us, what we, you know, can taste because we're cognizantly or intellectually like tasting something or smelling something. We forget that there's like that other realm of the Clair energy that we're tapping into as well as intuitive beings. So we're all able to be intuitive, right? Like this is not some special thing, you know, we're not some you know, oh, this is a special club, you're not a part of it, like
mystical being,
right? Like we're so special. Like no, we're all, everyone watching this, you have clairs, okay? And I hope from this you can start to understand your personal clairs. Like, you know what? I really do get a vibe, bro, when I walk in somewhere. And I just know that, like, yes, this is my place, or like, no, this is not my place. That's your clairsentience. And for you, Keish, what do you think is your strongest clair? Because I know you have all of them.
For someone who doesn't like to be all in their feelings, that is probably my biggest clair, is my clairsentience. I always have to feel something out. And the thing is that when you identify one particular clair that is your strongest, it doesn't necessarily mean that that is like what it's always going to be. It is very fluid. The information you take in on a regular basis, same as your chakras, how they can be open and closed and adapt based on your environment, your clairs do the same thing.
Right.
And what it really boils down to is that with our senses, they become extraordinary when we're talking about the clairs in an intuitive fashion. And so that turns our extraordinary perception through our senses into ESP, extrasensory perception. Okay. And the way this works is on a scientific level. If you actually look at the anatomy and physiology of the human body, there are nerves that extend outwards from our central nervous system into these energy centers that we call chakras, but these nerve innervations actually plug in to the glands, the endocrine system, that produce different hormones and so forth. And that is those are the chemical messengers that our body uses to relay information from our outside environment and helps it to understand what's going on inwards, and then the same vice versa, right? So you have information coming in, you have information processing within, and then your body has an awareness of how to adapt and ride that space in between the two. So your clairs are always adjusting based on what is needed in that moment, because your body is fundamentally, your brain specifically, is always going to be about survival. What is going to protect you, keep you safe, but also optimize your capacity to really experience the humanness of who you are. So I think that's pretty cool that they're always, you know,
communicating.
Yeah, communicating. And so we talk about vibes. What we're really perceiving is vibration, sound, frequency, energy, like the Bang Nikola Tesla. You know, in order to understand the secrets of the universe, you must understand energy, frequency, and vibration. So
100. And that's why spirituality and science are besties, okay? Like, you can't have one without the other, even though our society tried so much to disconnect them. I hope that we're bringing that cohesion back, because that also goes into that energy of the mind and the heart, right? That same concept of our intuition is our heart, our emotions, our clairs.
And our soul.
And our soul. And our mind and our logic and our practicality is that scientific way of understanding. But both of those are always kind of speaking to each other when you're an intuitive being. And the clairs, you know, for me, mine is, I think, is a little bit one of the hardest, only because it's the most, you can doubt yourself the easiest with it, because mine's claircognizance. So I just like know shit. And a lot of times as a Virgo, everyone thinks I always know everything. And it's like, but low key, I do. But
I know when I say you're right. I had to feel it out first, but you're right.
You see? Clairsentience, claircognizance coming together. But like for me, like I do be knowing. And for the longest, I did think it was just me thinking I knew everything, like thinking I was a know-it-all. And so there was a lot of doubt. There was a lot of like disconnection in my intuition and trusting myself because I'm like, I don't want to be a know-it-all. Like people don't like those. Like, but it's like, but I know, like, this is like,
It's just me knowing.
you know what I'm saying? So now I realize, like, oh, so like, no, if you just know, you know. And that is something that you can't prove, right? With the feeling, like you in your body, it feels a certain type of way, but that knowing is just like a thought, an idea, some type of insight, right? That comes to you. It's like a light bulb. It's literally like a ding, like an aha, or we call them over here.
Cidnee moments.
Literally, it's like, oh shit, everything is coming together. And that's how my claircognizance works. So it's weird and it's fun because now that I feel much more comfortable and confident in my claircognizance, it's like, yeah, when I'm reading tarot, it's like, I know this. And that's where it's like, I know it because I know it. But clairsentience is definitely a runner up for me with my.
I think it's interesting too because we have these terms that we use, like I have a bad taste in my mouth about something. I can see that. I don't know how I feel about that. But claircognizance is a very interesting one because, like you were saying, the light bulb that goes off over your head, right? Or sometimes we'll say, I don't know how, that's like off the top of my head. And that is actually where your eighth chakra sits, your higher self. And so when that is illuminated, that light bulb goes off, your eighth chakra is actually activated and downloading that information. We say we get downloads, right? It downloads that information, inputs it into your system, and then your body takes it, processes it, and then interprets it in ways that actually provides information that it finds valuable, that's going to support not only yourself being a spiritual being having a human experience, but we also have to remember that we're human beings having spiritual experiences as well. And I think that's something that kind of gets lost in the spiritual community. We forget that we're humans being spiritual as well.
Right. And as we start to kind of like become more aware, and if you start to become more aware of your clairs, now we're like having that conversation. And now we're in a society and a world that's much more balanced and we're not forgetting. And so like clairvoyance, I think is one of the coolest to me, but it's funny because I did tell Spirit back in the day when I started to realize like, okay, something's going on here. I be knowing. I was like, I don't want to see anything. Like, I don't want to see a ghost. I don't want to see, because entity, like, I don't want to see. Which now I'm kind of upset because I'm like, damn, that would be kind of cool. But like, I did make that, like declaration, the Spirit, like, I don't want to see something that's going to scare me or like make me uncomfortable. So my clairvoyance has been something that's been coming, like, it's not as strong, but my dreams. Like, that's where mine shows up. It's like my dreams are so active. It's crazy. And so that's, if you dream a lot, you're clairvoyant.
And it's funny because clairvoyance is also tied to our imagination. And our imagination is one hemisphere of the brain. Our logic and our rationale is another part of our brain. But what's interesting is that women tend to get the title of being more intuitive. And the reason why is because when you have the left hemisphere of the brain, the right hemisphere of the brain, one is for your imagination, your creativity, being able to perceive things outside of what is there and what's factual. Then, and the other side is about logic and rationale. It's funny because men, theirs actually goes like front and back, from the back of their head to the front, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. And so from the hindbrain to like the prefrontal cortex, so they have more of a linear way of thinking. Women actually, if you look at their thought patterns, theirs goes left and right. It goes in between both the rationale and the actual like more emotional and like imaginative state. So they're able to put the two together, and that's why I think women actually have more of an intuitive gift in a way, but it's not that men can't access it.
Right.
It's just that women, the way our biology has been set up by divine design, that's just the way we operate. And so we're able to embody more or access more of those intuitive gifts because we are technically the beholders of the creation of humanity.
Yeah.
You know? So we have to know how to operate in that realm between both spirit and earth. So as above, so below.
Oh my God, I love it so much. Well, I want to close with maybe one of our favorite kind of moments using our clairs where they showed up for us or we're like, dang, that was some psychic stuff, man. Like, what? That tripped me out. Like, so yeah, like what's one for you that might be coming up?
It was actually when I was taking intuitive development classes, which those are the ones I actually now teach. And I wanted to connect to my angels. I wanted to connect to my angels, and I was sitting there, I was meditating. I was in a place where I call the center of my head. That's the space between the left and right hemispheres of the brain, the front and the back of the brain. And in that center point, I was sitting there energetically, and I saw all of a sudden, like it was like a black screen, and I just saw this like in neon, a name being written out. And I had never heard of this angel's name before. Her name was Haniel, or their name was Haniel. I don't know, they're gender neutral up there, I guess. But that's the name that I saw, and coincidentally, it was an angel that actually assists with exactly what I needed and what I was going through at that time. So since then, I've had another angel appear that I had never heard of, and I just saw the name written out. So
wow,
like I said, your clairs can shift and adjust depending on what serves you. How about you?
Absolutely. I think one of my favorites and one that I wasn't expecting. I was reading for a client for her bachelorette shower. And when we were talking, I just was like, I'm getting someone coming through, and it was like I realize like when spirit comes to me, it's gonna, and if depending on the side of the family that they're connected to, it either comes on my left for their mom because that's our feminine, or the right for their dad because that's our masculine. And so I felt the energy coming in from my left, and then I was like, there's something about a recipe because I saw in my third eye like older woman, and it was like she was cooking. And like that was the imagery that I got. And then but literally I had never, like I said, like Claire, like I told Spirit, like I don't want to be seen. So like this was something that wasn't like super what's the word I'm looking for?
Like scary?
No, super common for me. So like when it's happening, I'm like, yeah. And she was like, oh my God, I'm literally baking her specific recipe for my wedding.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was.
Mediumship is definitely a different, but very interesting gift when it shows itself.
Indeed. Indeed. We'll have another episode about that. But yeah, that was when my Claire, I was like, or when one of my Claires like really surprised me. I was like, oh my God, what? So that's pretty cool.
Yay! I love that. That's cool.
Well, let us know what y'all's Clairs are, okay? So what you think that you feel yours is your strongest. Remember, we have all of them. We're all intuitive, so you have one too. Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Continue to hang out with us because we'll be hanging out, chilling
in Cosmic Chat
on this couch. So bless. Thanks, y'all.